What's cracking with you people? Anansi here and welcome back to Jack 2 in the last one. We rescued Vin from the power station and then went to the mining platform to deal with some metalhead eggs. And then this one, it's gonna jump right into it. Oh, how you like that? Don't see Vin here right now. Okay, I'll admit I was trying to roll and I accidentally shot my gun. Alright. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to steal a vehicle, and then we're going to go continue our work with the underground. Now I'm not going to lie, that last section within the power station is one of the few sections of Jack where you don't really get a choice of what you want to do. You know what I mean? It's like, I understand, like, early game is gonna get you used to the idea that you're going to be doing work for, but it's getting you used to how you go about getting your missions and the kind of mission structure you're going to get with Jack 2. But it's odd that they would put you in a situation where it's like, okay, now I want to go back to work for the underground. Okay, but you don't get to go to the underground. You just do a job for Vin. Because it's not even like what's the one looking for here? Like, you have no choice to jump you straight into a cutscene. It's that when you get back from doing the mission, trying to best not to hit any guards, I don't really want to get into much trouble. When you get back from the mission, you walk forward and Vin's right there, and it forces you into a cutscene. It's that kind of situation, you know what I mean? So it is odd that they would do that. Anyway, let's go see what we have to do for Torn.
One of my old guard comrades was sent to the pumping station. There's been no word from the patrol, and after what you guys ran into out there, I'm afraid she may need some help.
Did you say she?
Don't even think about it. Stop that! This is serious, you moron.
Wah! That's right. Don't mess with the sugar.
This friend of mine has helped the underground many times before. Go back to the pumping station and take a look around. Render assistance if needed. Now get your squirrely ass out of here.
Oh, that was quick. Yeah, now we're heading back to the pumping station, and once again, we're going to be going through a section of the pumping station we have not been through before. So, it goes back to an earlier tangent went on about how even though you'll be coming back to the same areas, you won't be going through the exact same area. You know what I mean? You'll get to go to different sections of that area to explore and look around. Now, I think I touched on how, like, even in Jack and Daxter you did do that. Like, it was similar to that concept, but due to how the level design is laid out for Jack 2, it's more noticeable. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, Jack and Daxter was a much more. Oh, I'm in trouble now. I accidentally nicked a guard. Okay. Went a bit too low. Keep going. Don't worry. But the what's the one over here? But like with Jack and Daxter's level design, because it was open up that pretty much every section was unique into itself, because you're revisiting the same areas more than once, you would expect to just go through the exact same levels every single time. But as a result of the fact that they drip feed you different aspects of the level design, you won't have to worry about it as much. You know what I mean? So anyway, so we're gonna go. I keep trying to roll and I forget it's the fire button. I'm so used to having the roll button be the R1 button, that when you get you a gun and then put that firing trigger on the R1 button, you have to get used to the L1 button being your roll. Up. We got a new enemy here. Another metalhead, and as you can tell, it's the one that Sig took down. Now, your initial thought is, oh lord, I don't got a peacemaker. But bump that noise. These are not like for instance again. These metalheads, as long as you stay calm and whatnot, they should not be that big a problem. Okay, now then, he doesn't have a skull gem in his head. Okay, I'm gonna prove my point here. It's like these guys, since their foreheads are not glowing anymore, that means they don't have a skull gem. See? So that's how you know if they're going to be worth your time or not. And you can see them. You can see the skull gem glowing from a mile away. It's not hard to notice. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. The water pump's still busted. Okay. Okay, the skull gem. I was gonna say something, now I've completely forgotten. I hate when that happens. Oh yeah, we're gonna go help a friend of Torn's from back in his day in the Crimson Guard. But can I just say, I do like the idea behind us. Oh, Water Mercy just shot him down. Oh, we got some more guys down there. Probably to go back down there at some point. But won't worry about it for now. He's gonna go this way. If it's Crimson Guard, knowing how gruff those guys are, it's probably some like buff lady. It's like, I can bench press you in a heartbeat. So let's see how that goes. Oh, and I also mentioned that you probably shouldn't expect a lot of cutscenes to be too long or too short. Like for instance with I think I'd go over there at some point. I think the last cutscene we just saw was an example of a cutscene being just long enough. Okay, now I think you gotta go a little further this way. I don't think these were. Yep, this should be it right here. Because the last cutscene was like really short. It's like less than 30 seconds. It's straight to the point. You know what you gotta do, so just get it done. But not a lot of them are going to be like that. So don't get used to that idea. Let's see here. There we go. We'll grab this. We'll grab this.
Yeah, what the heck are we doing, risking our lives to rescue some old Crimson Guard hag anyway? She's probably got more facial hair than me.
Who the hell are you two?
I do love a woman in uniform. Want to bark some orders at me? Woof woof. I'm your soldier on the front lines of love. Waiter, foxhole for two.
Keep talking and I'll raise your voice a couple of octaves.
Easy. Torn asked us to help you.
I don't need help, but you might. We've got company.
Alright, someone grab the skull gem. So, fun fact, this is where my first wall happened. And bomb!
Here's some.
So, yeah, just gonna let you know right now, you're going to want to make ample use of the Dark Jack gauge. But yeah, this was my first wall when I first played this game. This section legitimately gave me a lot of trouble. It was always the
Good work.
Watching me take care of those metalheads was, pretty exciting. Wasn't it, Sugar? Hey! Sweet stripes! Give me them digits so I can look you up sometime! We'll party hard! Big city style!
Tell Torn Baron Praxis is planning something big. I think it has to do with that symbol.
What is it?
It's the seal of the House of Mar, the founder of Haven City. We're being sent out on suicide missions to locate artifacts in the time of his rule. If curiosity's worth dying for, you can ask the blind old soothsayer in the bazaar named Onan. She might know something about all this. Here's my bazaar access security pass.
Your name's Ashlyn, huh?
We're even now.
Wow! What a woman! Arrgh.
So yeah, no security pass. 155 skull gems. Wow, where does the time go? But yeah, that was my first wall growing up. And yeah, as you can tell now, it's not as big a wall now, but I did come very close to dying if you look at that health bar right there. So yeah, I remember I died on that part more times than I care to mention, and it was mostly due to the fact that Jak 2, I will maintain, and it proves this point more times than not, is one of the is probably the hardest game in the franchise. And I mean just in terms of sheer raw difficulty. It's all to do with those guys with the freaking poles. The pole arms, those things got me every single time. Probably shouldn't be going this way, but whatever. Okay, and now I'm out of blaster ammo, so down time to the shotgun. Well, I should have gone to that earlier. So, yeah. The one thing they do fix in Jak 3, and I'm going to go ahead and just let you know in on this now, is that the difficulty, in my opinion, doesn't really go down in Jak 3, but they do give you more survival means to handle it. Jak 2 is very much like, you can easily get overwhelmed, you know. I don't think I ever really touched on the difficulty of Jak 2 before, but Jak 2, I think all I ever said was that it was hard. But Jak 2 is difficult in the sense that it's very easy to get overwhelmed, you know. And while I will admit that close to, if not at 80% of the game, 80% of the challenge, if you fail, it's your fault. You know, about 80% of the time. There are some times where it's like, wow, this is just way too much, you know. And that last section, especially for new players, can be one of those sections where it's just like, I'm doing everything I can, and yet I'm getting demolished, you know. It's just how it is. Oh, also I should mention a little bit of a tidbit now. I don't know why it took me this long to mention it. You can kill the civilians walking around on the ground. Like, you can kill them, and they disappear in just puffs, you know. Here's the thing though, that's only in Western releases. In Japan, you can't kill civilians. You can hit them, you can injure them, you know, they will react from gunfire and getting run over, but they will not die. So there you go. Yeah, it's one of those fun little tidbits about, you know, development and going across cultures and whatnot. See what's acceptable in some areas and what's not. Like, I'll get into that later, but it's one of the things like you actually look at some of the regional differences between a lot of games. It's like, really, that you just have to change that, and then it's like, oh well, it must be a regional thing. Okay, so we got another power station to do, and then there's Onan the bazaar. Now Onan, okay, well, we'll do the power station first, just to get that out the way, because I don't think there's too much to do with the power station at the moment. So I might as well go ahead and get that knocked out, because once you go to Onan, actually, I'm gonna set it when we get around to that. I don't want to spoil it just yet. Yeah, we're gonna just head to the power station, see what Ben's up to. How he pulled that Houdini trick earlier. It's like, dude, why you gotta worry about me saving your butt? You can disappear at will. Go this way. This way. Go this way. Nope.
I've got suspicious activity in the sector.
There we go. And we lowered on this platform we can't lower on. Okay, and park.
Finn, buddy, we need a favor.
I can't help you with your eco bill.
We need you to switch on the access elevator in one of the palace's support towers.
Sheesh! That's part of the old B-zone power grid. It hasn't worked for years.
Well, if it's too hard for you, I understand. Power stuff can be tricky.
Tricky? I could route the B-zone conduit lines through the bypass grid, shunting past the eco rings to connect inductor tubes in series, then back through the outer wall insulator helix and across the resonant flux routers into the number 5 capacitor array. Assuming the circuit's GX75B can handle the surge, I could link the phase loop lines into the primary coils, and presto, you've got instant lift juice.
Finn, you're a genius.
Actually, Mar was the genius. People say he made most of this stuff long ago. The shield wall system, the eco-grid. Anyway, to get that elevator moving, you gotta find and turn on all the old B-zone power boxes located in the city. There are 5 of them. That doesn't sound so tough. No, except those power boxes are guarded by motion-sensing turbo cannons. But if you can destroy the cannons and switch the boxes on, I can do the rest. Just don't tell the Baron I ever saw you.
Please advise. Suspect's description.
Okay, now this one's gonna be a little bit tricky. Because to do this, you have to. What's the word? You have to blow up 5 sensor boxes. I think they are located in this section of the city, so you shouldn't have to worry about doing too much. But this part, I don't remember having too much over this part, but I do remember that it can get to be overwhelming just because of what you're gonna do. There's one. Yep, there it is. There it is. Because you're destroying Crimson Guard property, they're going to be coming after you. So at this point, I say screw it. We're going to go low rider mode and then just run over anyone that gets in our way. And boom. Hit this, and then grab this, and go from there. So yeah. Also, I do love this because oh man, I probably gone on this more times than I care to mention, but it bears repeating that when it comes to Jack 2, it could have been so easy to make Jack this character who, once he learned how to talk, all he did was like swear up a storm or say some really edgy lines, but it's like Jack still has that playful trickster aspect to his character that we saw a little bit in Jak and Daxter. It's just he can talk, has a gruff voice, and is in a very much a what's the word looking for here? Very much in a more, I wouldn't call this grounded, but okay. Excuse me, sir. I just stole this car. But it's like because you see him, you see the gears turning in his head. It's like, oh well, I guess if you can't do it, and he looks to Daxter and goes, "Play along real quick, man." And it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you know he knows what he's talking about, you know. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just glad they didn't go the route of making him like over the top, like he now vocalizes how much of a gangster he is and whatnot. It's like, no, he's the same guy. He just can talk now. Just right. Bing. Pull out the gun. And you see here, Daxter's holding the gun. Okay, so let me put the shotgun here. Okay. Hell.
Okay, the B-zone power grid is back online. Have fun being killed in the palace.
Okay. Now it's time to get out of here. I'm steering without any steering mechanism besides the one underneath the car. I don't think this is how this works. Okay, borrow this real quick. Thank you. And there we go. Oh, bit of a heads up. Never steal Crimson Guard vehicles. Yes, they have weapons on them. Yes, they look pretty dope. But they might as well be paper mache. You know, so don't even bother. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my little thing here. This is kind of a trick you learn from Grand Theft Auto. Just hide somewhere they can't get to you and wait for the stuff to die down. Wait. There you go. Doesn't take too long. I forget how that mechanic works. In terms of the Crimson Guard noticing you and not noticing you, but you know, I want to say it works by direct line of sight. You know, like how long you go without a Crimson Guard seeing you or noticing you. I think that determines it. At any rate, here we are. The whole point of that last mission was to follow up on a plot thread we got from an earlier episode in which we had to activate one of the lifts to go to the Baron's palace that we got from the recruiter that crew sent us to. But we'll do that in the next one. I've been a Nazi, you've been great, and I'll catch you later.